Welcome Monday morning.
She has a bone to pick.
Yeah, and I don't even think Lacey knows much about it. So here's an issue I'm having. I've never seen um, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or whatever that movie is called.
Cute. I thought it was cute.
Okay, here's my issue, right? So you take a children's book that has 20, 30 pages maybe with not even a paragraph, like a section of words, and you try and make that into an hour and a half feature film. It just doesn't work because the story has a plot and a story and everything laid out. And if you try and make it to be that long, you're gonna have to add lots of details that was not there originally. So Meatballs, whatever, I've never seen that. I don't even remember the book. But the issue that I have is The Grinch, Horton, all the Dr. Seuss books, because he's amazing. His art is amazing. His stories are amazing. They don't need any of your crap added to it.
Made up words.
Yeah, he doesn't need any of your crap made up to add to it. I mean, if you like The Grinch, whatever. I have the book memorized.
Here's the Who, and I also liked the Lorax because I think that they
don't get me started on the
built
Lorax.
On it.
No, you don't build on something that's already perfect. It's wonderful.
It's perfect, but I don't think that there's to take something and creatively make it longer.
No, so I have The Grinch, and
what about Where the Wild Things Are?
No, terrible.
Did you watch it?
No, because it had horrible. Not only did I not want to see it, but it had horrible reviews. Horrible. I mean, nobody liked the movie, which without. I mean,
all right. Well, then I have a question
understand
for you.
that. Okay.
What about all of Roald Dahl's stuff?
Who's that?
Oh my goodness. All right. For any of you who don't know who Roald Dahl is, Willy and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. No,
that's another.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
We're gonna talk about that
Mr. Fox
in just a minute. Okay. First, let's talk about
the BFG.
So
Matilda.
You take The Grinch, which is like 30 pages. I have the whole thing memorized because my kids love that book, and with reason. It's amazing. And then the 30-minute Christmas special cartoon type deal, that's great. I love that one. We grew up watching it. It's fine. But when you take it and you add...
One of her favorite actors is Jim Carrey. So I don't understand.
He's funny. And he's inspiring now. He has lots of cool stuff.
No, his art is actually amazing.
But the Grinch was terrible. And it's not even that the movie isn't...
There's one funny part.
It's not even that the movie isn't even that good. It's that you're ruining... You're ruining the book. You're ruining it. So, Horton Hears a Who,
you can't ruin the book. Something
Where the Wild Things
and
Are.
Classic. You can't ruin it.
You can ruin it by adding too much detail,
but
that
you
is unnecessary.
can't ruin it. The book is not ruined. You can still read
you're right.
the book.
The book is amazing still, and I still love to read it.
It's not going to diminish any amazingness.
No book can live up to the standard that The Grinch and the Lorax and Horton Hears a Who is. You can't live up to that standard if you make it into a full feature film. It just doesn't happen.
I really loved Horton Hears
and I'm sorry if you're offended because you love the movie or whatever. I love you still. We'll have to agree to disagree. So then, my other issue is, then they try and take 800-page books and fit it into the same amount of time. Like, these aren't just 800 pages of pictures. All right, now that's and a paragraph.
My bone to pick. That's my bone to pick.
But you can't.
Not hers.
It's not even picture books. It's like straight up words of 800 pages.
Then
they try and fit it into an hour and a half.
The Hobbit.
It's not gonna work. No.
They turned it into three-hour long movies.
No.
The Lord of the Rings, 3 hour long.
They're more than an hour. They're like an hour and 20 minutes.
3-hour long movies.
Oh, okay, right.
Probably something like that.
It's like 2 hours.
Okay, well, whatever. So 3 long movies versus Lord of the Rings, which are each at least as long, if not longer than The Hobbit.
They're all longer than The Hobbit.
Okay, fine. They're all longer than The Hobbit. And you turn it into
Harry Potter.
One movie each.
Harry Potter,
Abomination, Peter Jackson,
the seventh book of Harry Potter is 2 movies, Whereas like the
The
fourth book,
which is the longest book,
and has the most important things that you need to put in there,
has
one movie. Like, you can't.
J.K. Rowling, I know you were trying to drag it out, but goodness.
No, okay, you can't have those two completely opposite things
going
happening
on with the same
with
franchise.
Movies. And this is why I just
I'm going to talk about Roald Dahl now. Okay?
Go ahead.
So here's the
I'm
thing.
done with my rant. I love you still. We'll have to agree to disagree.
I actually do love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I loved Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the really old one. But here's the thing, it doesn't follow the book hardly. Like
the one with Johnny Depp follows the book more.
Okay. There are parts that follow the book better, but then there are other parts that don't follow the book at all, because I've read the book several times.
Where's your water? I need to drink water after that rant.
After the rant. And so, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, while it was a great... Yeah, we drink out of mason jars. We're ghetto. Or, as we like to say, we're hicks. Whatever. So, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was a great movie. I loved it in the time period that it came out, and I loved I loved the idea and the story of it and everything like that, but there were no geese. They weren't geese. They were squirrels. And then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, same idea, but he added in a whole bunch of backstory to his past, to his childhood. It didn't exist in the book. And now, while I thought it was great and I loved like the imagination that they came up with, Tim Burton. Yeah, Tim Burton, the whole story and why he became so obsessed with candy. I thought it was cute, but it didn't have anything to do with the book, which is why I don't understand why you don't like them building upon the children's books, because
I don't like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I haven't seen the BFG, but I'd imagine that it would. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, that I haven't seen that either. And Matilda, they've made a couple of Matildas as far as I remember. I thought that it was like one of my aunts, she was obsessed with Matilda, and she talked about it all the time and always was.
That movie
is weird, and so I didn't. I don't know, but I know that I'm pretty sure they've made another Matilda, and so they've just almost all of Roald Dahl's books. They've just been like, well, let's make this into a movie. It's like Dr. Seuss. Oh, well, it's by Dr. Seuss. Let's turn it into a movie
because it's by Roald Dahl. They're popular books, and for good reason. He was a genius.
Why don't they turn Skippy John Jones into a movie?
No, please don't. Please don't do that.
I think it would be cute.
I love Skippy John Jones. No.
Having a Skippy John Jones with a little Siamese.
Okay, so here's what makes sense, right? If you're gonna make a book, if you make a book into a movie, a good length movie, which they've already done, Scrooge, that's a good sized book that would fit. You can fit the details.
I'm going to give some honorable mentions for the people that did a good job with the movies versus the books. I think that they did an excellent job with the Chronicles of Narnia. I've read those books several times, and they stuck with the storyline very well. The books are not super, super long, so they could do that, but they didn't get super creative and over technical and everything like that. And I thought that they did an amazing job with the movies versus the books. The thing is that C.S. Lewis himself said that he would read the books in chronological order, not in the order that he wrote them in, and they were making the movies in the order that he wrote them in, not in the order in chronological order. He said that he didn't mean to write them in that way, but he just felt like there were some gaps that he missed out on, that he needed to go back and explain some things, and that he didn't mean to write them so that you would read them like that.
So if you find 100...
The other series that I think they did a really good job on was The Hunger Games. I read those books twice, and I thought that they did a pretty good job. I didn't see the Mockingjay ones, or no, I don't think I saw either of the Mockingjay ones, but I saw The Hunger Games, the Hunger Games, and then I also saw Catching Fire.
Those are too long to put in a movie, I think. I've never actually read. Well,
I thought that they kept to the storyline really well, and I thought that they did a really good job picking somebody to be Katniss Everdeen, and I thought that it was done pretty well. And I'm not going to say that.
What about Spider-Man Chronicles? Those books are short enough that you could, and you don't have to make up.
I think that they only had one. They put all 5 books.
Oh,
into
is
one
that what
movie.
happened? Okay,
And
that's an abomination. If you take the Spiderwick Chronicles, those are books that have a picture every few pages, and it's kind of
So why do
bigger
you? So
print.
why do we need you to make a movie if you're just going to cram all of them into one movie when you have pictures on every other page?
Yeah, so that's true too. Like the Grinch has a picture, so you don't need a movie.
Oh my goodness.
But no, like books that are about that length, or what's the one with Twig? What's that series
Oh,
called?
I love those books.
What's it called?
It's called the Edge Chronicles.
Yeah, so those would be good too, and they even have a depiction of what the
What
kid
if
would
they
look
did
like in
the
the movie.
Sisters Grimm.
Those
Oh my
books are
goodness.
too long too. Anyway, so that's
Well,
my bone
If
to
they made
pick.
it like a 2.5 hour movie for Sisters Grimm for each one of those, I think it would be cute. There's
So
only
tell us
7.
your
Somebody make the Sisters
opinions
Grimm.
on these movies and these books, and if you like them, or if you disagree with us, or if you agree with us wholeheartedly. Let us know in the
Aragon.
comments.
Okay.
Okay.
They only ever came out with one Aragon movie.
That's because the movie was so terrible.
Oh, it was
And
awful.
I got horrible reviews.
I went and watched it with somebody who had never read the book, and he was, and I said, I didn't know what was going on half the time. I didn't even understand. Like they didn't explain anything, and he was like, I thought it was pretty good, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
That's because you didn't read the book.
So no, I don't. I like even if I hadn't read the book, because it had been a couple years since I had read Aragon. I didn't understand what was going on. I don't know how. I was just like, were the only thing that you collected in that whole movie was the action? That was it? Because the storyline was terrible. You couldn't make heads or tails out of it.
Well,
I went and saw that in the theaters.
so let us know what books that you think would make good movies, because their length is a good size for a movie to fit into an hour and a
Please
half.
share. Tell us, what books would you like to see into movies, and what books are go on your rant. Tell us what books that bothered you that have been turned into a movie,
or
and
other
you just
rants
thought
that
did
you have.
a terrible job on, and you just feel like you need to express yourself.
Yeah, you can get it out in our
We're
comments.
book nerds.
Yeah.
We like to read.
Thank you for watching.
May adventures be in your cards.